Who would you say are like the smartest people that you've ever engaged with on philosophical topics?
Joe Schmid is one of the definitely top tier for me. Like right from the beginning, I met him through email out of high school when he was in high school, and I was a professor at the time, and he impressed me quite a bit. I think one thing that impressed me right like immediately was how quick it seemed like he understood things at like at their core, like like he saw it to the root of the root insight. It's like, oh, he didn't get distracted with forms of presenting something or maybe certain social trends or something. It seemed like he understood like kind of what was really at stake, and then he would resist like if somebody even me, kind of like put the cap on something and say, okay, we've kind of figured this out and here's how it works. Unless he saw that clearly, he would always kind of like keep that cap a little bit open and then find more insight. And so I always was impressed by that. Um, so I discovered him when he was early in his career, before he was even in college. And
He's so young.
now
That's
he's
so
at
funny.
Princeton. He's a in grad school, and so I really am sort of following that light, and we'll love to kind of see what continues to come from him. Other bright lights. I mean, you mentioned Graham Oppy. I mean, he's I think a very important philosopher working in the philosophy of religion today on the non-theist side. But I think he does it in a way that's both careful and charitable, so that theist philosophers are
Mm.
benefiting from his work. Um, Alvin Plantiga, he was my mentor at Notre Dame, and he's retired, but he very much impressed me. I mean, he was one of my favorites, very clear in his articulation of ideas, and also like Joe Schmid, I felt like he would kind of see things kind of to their depths and kind of quickly. He wouldn't get kind of stuck with here's a form or here's a trend, or you would see no, that don't get distracted by that. Like you get deeper in, like this is the essence of what we're getting at. And so Plantiga seemed like he was able to do that in person in my conversation. Like with him, I would bring up things that I was thinking about that I hadn't seen him write about it. They were very obscure things. I had thoughts about the philosophy of perception. I remember like coming to his office, Al Plantinga's office, and sharing my ideas. And like he'd already been there. Like, he immediately had something to say about that, and it was insightful. And I left just really thinking like, wow, that I never thought about that way. But my other professors weren't like that. My other professors weren't like that. Not just my graduate student peers, the professors. I would share my ideas with other professors, and they wouldn't necessarily display the kind of quality of insight that Alvin
Mm.
Plantinga displayed to me in person. He was very impressive in person. Um, People know him in print, but some philosophers I feel like they're more impressive in print than in person. But with
Mm.
Al Plantinga was, if anything, the other way. He's even more impressive in person.
Mm.
And my
This question's
wife
kind of
Rachel,
some.
she would be the other person who. And I'm not just saying this. I mean, this would be a whole other topic of conversation, but we regularly have long form conversations about philosophical things, and many of my own ideas are stirred in those conversations, or started even from her. So she's she also has that ability to kind of see into things, and synthesize a lot of information, and not just not just kind of pick up a trend, but to really kind of see it for herself. And she also has this kind of intuitive quality. There are things that I believed in philosophy that she didn't believe in, and then every single one of those things I've, by my own stumbling about, realized, oh wait, I don't think I was right about that. So there's no example of something that she had kind of an intuition where where I found her intuition to not be correct. So she's got that quality. So I do want to put her on the list of uh, one of the best philosophers, even though she's not, an academic philosopher by title. Her soul, if I could use that word now, seems to just carry that quality of philosophical depth.